Hello and welcome to your Moderation Principles training video. I'm Drew Bromfield, Clinical Procurement Manager at SCW, and I'll be taking you through the training presentation today. The objective of this session is to provide training to evaluators involved in the moderation of a tender. The session will brief you regarding the purpose of moderation, discuss how the moderation process will be conducted, and remind evaluators of the principles and objectives of the evaluation process. Moderation meetings are held once all evaluators have completed evaluating and scoring the bidder responses to the questions they have been allocated, to discuss the variance in those scores and the rationale used by each evaluator to arrive at those scores. Through these discussions, the intention is to gain a consensus view and agree a singular score for each bidder response to each question. The moderation meeting will be facilitated by the SCW team. Usually one of us will chair the meeting and the other will take detailed notes to document the discussion. We'll bring copies of all relevant documents that may need to be referred to during the process, including the specification, the bids, and the evaluator's scores and rationale. The moderation is a quality review of the evaluation process and allows you as a subject matter expert to express your views and opinions, discussing the rationale you use for scoring the response. The process will enable you to take into account the views of other evaluators as you reflect on the score you have allocated, and challenge other evaluators' interpretation of the bidder's response to each of the questions if they vary from your own. This is not an averaging of the scores, but a point of challenge and scrutiny for each evaluator's scores and comments. If the scores were simply added up and averaged, it does not allow any misinterpretations of the response, individual bias and/or experience with the bidder, or any potentially overlooked parts of the response to be discussed. For example, if three evaluators award scores of 2, 3, and 5 for a question, the average will be 3.33. A score of 2 indicates below expectation, and a score of 5 indicates significantly above expectations. With an average of 3.33, which is meeting expectations, does this mean that both the evaluators that scored 2 and 5 are incorrect in their marking? Have they misinterpreted the response? Has any bias or overlooked parts of the response been an issue? Unless each of the evaluators' score and rationale are discussed, these issues will not be resolved and an inappropriate score could be given. Justifications for moderating a score will be documented by the procurement team for the purposes of arriving at a total score for each bidder's full response. It provides the information to enable an award recommendation to be made and feedback to be provided to all bidders. The objective for the moderation falls within the overall evaluation objective, which is to select the bidder whose proposal offers the best value for money, that is the best composite blend of technical competence, service delivery and price over the life of the contract. Likewise, as discussed in the evaluation principles training, the principles of evaluation and the Public Contracts Regulation 2015 regarding confidentiality are maintained throughout the moderation process. The main risk with any moderation process is if the evaluators are unable to agree to a consensus on a singular score for a response. If consensus is not reached for a response, an executive panel or nominated executive moderator will be enlisted to determine a moderated score for the relevant response. The result of this is the potential for the process to be delayed considering the availability of the executive panel or moderator. To ensure that the moderation process goes as smoothly and is as successful as possible, please see important do's and don'ts that need to be observed by all evaluators. Do allow all evaluators the opportunity to discuss their views and rationale. Do be open to consider different and varied evaluator interpretations of bidder responses. Do provide evidence-based reasoning when challenging another evaluator's views or rationale. Do respect views and rationale of evaluators who may have greater understanding of the subject matter. Don't interrupt while other evaluators are discussing their views and rationale. Don't pressure other evaluators into agreeing with your view, rationale, or score. And don't be distracted by emails, phone calls, or other tasks whilst in the moderation meeting. Throughout the evaluation and moderation process, the team at the SCW are here to help you. For any issues, queries, or advice, please don't hesitate to call. The SCW contact phone numbers and the team email address are noted here. To confirm you're aware of what is required and expected of you within the moderation process, please complete and return the Moderation Training Declaration form to the SCW team via the noted email address, and make sure you know where and when you need to be to complete the moderation of the bidder responses that you have evaluated. If you're not sure of this, then please contact your project lead. Thank you very much.